Technology. Hi, everybody. Hi, Instagram. Hi, Facebook. Hi, Facebook. Hi, YouTube. Wherever you are joining from today, please shoot me a message. Say hello. Tell me what city or what country you are tuning in from. Hi, Rowan. Hi, La Castillejo. I don't know your name, but I think I said that right. Hi, Richard. I'm doing well. La Banca. Lindy Rostov in the house. Dowdy, one of my favorite photographers based in Vancouver, is also in the house. Awesome. Let me plug this in before this thing dies. All right, so I'm trying out a new setup for today's live chat. Not the typical kitchen setting with my huge magnet wall behind me. Let's see. Oh. All right, over here we got MIA, missing in action, is tuning in. No, I'm kidding. Miami, right? Quito, Ecuador. Wow, nice. Chicago in the house. Hi, Aracelis. Hi, Aracelis. Hi, Powell. Another old friend of mine, Zajac from Toronto. It's nice to see some old folks in the house. Spain in the house here. Sekar, not sure where you're from. So yeah, when you tune in, just shoot me a message. Let me know where you're tuning in from. It's always interesting to see how diverse this audience ends up becoming and how global and international it always is. Turkish blue-eyed necklace. Yes, it is. This is called a nazar, as I learned, and this is very, very common in Turkey. It's everywhere. In every store and every home, most people have something that they wear that has this, or that's attached to something that they have, like keychain or whatever. Nazar is supposed to, it's kind of superstitious. I think it's beautiful, and I will take the superstition part of it because it's protective. It's supposed to protect you from the evil eyes of, or evil intentions of other people. Not entirely sure how it protects me, but I do find that it looks beautiful. This one does have a very, very interesting story to it. Maybe I will share that with all of you one of these days. So tell me, because I know some of you are regulars. This is our monthly chat. This is our 8th monthly chat. I can't believe I've been doing it. It's already been 8 months. So we do have a new setup. Let me know on Instagram. Again, I go live simultaneously on multiple platforms. So if you're wondering who I'm talking to in this corner here, that's Instagram. If you're wondering who I'm talking to over here, that's Facebook and YouTube. But let me know what it sounds like, if it looks good, if it sounds good, if the audio is clear, the video is clear. Let me know all that stuff so I know that I can set this up. Because the great thing about this area is that I actually have like desk space. I've been using my kitchen table, which is round, so things kind of fall off the edge. I want some water, but I can't put the water and my laptop and my phone on there. So it's like a big struggle. And now I actually have like a lot of space. And because I have a lot of space, I can also back up and demonstrate something or show something to you, or also get all animated with my hands, which I really do when I talk. So, all right. Christian from Germany. Hi, Mike. Hello. Old schooler, one of the legends in New York. Wealth of information. K-Way Awesome said, lighting check, audio check, video check, setup, all good. Thank you. I'm glad. Wade, thank you as well. Wade, you're back in New York. Should stay in DR. All right, Andres, hello. Musical M28. I am in the USA. I am from India, however. All right. Oh, Michael Zada in the house. Hi. Musical M28 from Tokyo. Sekar from India. I know Yaron's from Holland. Paris in the house. Asuncion, Paraguay. Gusto Agüero. Dope. I freaking love how international this audience is. Anyways, let me get started. This is another thing. I am always super, super surprised and shocked, or maybe I shouldn't be. And maybe all my friends are like, I'm not shocked that you can talk for an hour and a half nonstop. But this is a live chat. The goal of these live chats is to address some issues or concerns that might be common or current, to answer your questions. Mainly, the purpose of these live chats is to be here in a way that's accessible to all of you, so you can ask, so you can get your questions answered, so you can interact, so we can all connect around the globe. It's crazy. When I was traveling all around the world, I didn't realize how much we were missing out on, and the opportunity to actually connect with places and with people that I wouldn't get a chance to travel to. I felt like I was traveling, so I was around the world and I was connecting with people, but there are so many places in the world that have access to internet that can get on this connection, but might not be able to go and fly to Europe to go to an event just to be able to connect. So there are a lot of things we've learned, obviously, in this past year with in terms of technology, internet connection, and all these other ways that we can relate to each other. So that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this. I'm trying to do this monthly. I do have some questions for you. I do need your feedback. So please, please, please let me know what you think. One is, where do you generally log in from? Obviously, Instagram. I know you guys are on Instagram because you're the only one that's on a phone. But I would like to just host this over here on YouTube because it's a little bit easier to just go through one platform. But I would like to know, many of you who join in from Facebook, would you even know that it was on YouTube? Or would you get your notifications to actually tune in through YouTube? Or do I need to find another way to keep on doing it on Facebook, for example, right? So let me know which way you prefer, and I will try to accommodate that as best I can. Okay. Second thing is, if you have questions, post them into the comments, post them into the chats. I have a few that I get in advance that, depending on the questions I get, I kind of like tune in and hone into some that I really want to discuss. But feel free to add your questions into the chat so that I can also see if I can attend to those. Facebook, Instagram, my peeps on Instagram. More people doing. Marinasso from Paris, one of the best kizomba dancers, in my opinion. One of my favorites to dance with for sure. YouTube or Instagram works for Musical M. Cool, awesome. Instagram, if you guys have any questions, there is a ask a question feature. Please click on that one instead of writing it directly into chat. Write it into chat, like if you're feeling something, if you agree with something, if you want me to elaborate a little bit further. But if you have a specific question, add it as a question, because then I can click on that question mark and it'll show me all of the questions that you asked. But if you just put it into chat, it sometimes starts scrolling and I might miss it. Okay, so just a heads up there. Yvette from Philadelphia. Nice to see you here. Yannick from Reunion. Freddie Maldonado. Hello. Blessings and best wishes back to you, sir. All right. So I like to kind of start a little light. I am going to ask you guys this question because one of my friends asked me, what is my spirit animal? So I'm going to leave that to all of you. What do you think my spirit animal would be? And I am giving you the freedom to go with real or mythical. All right, we'll come back to that one. The other thing I wanted to also say is Tier 1 from New York. Tier 1. I don't understand what that means. What is Tier 1? Light rounds. Yes. JR, you're going to have to explain Tier 1 to me. Not sure. A horse. Okay, but if you give me an animal, you got to give your reason. Like, why do you think that a horse would be my spirit animal? Okay, you can pick whatever animal you want, but you guys need a reason. You need to validate it with something, some kind of reasoning. I'll tell you what I think mine is, or mine are rather. I feel like I have a few. I can't be boxed in. Okay, so Musical M asked me, how many hours do I exercise in a day? If I could, if I planned better, let me correct myself, because we do all have this tendency of, if I could, like I would, if I, and the truth is it's all about priorities at the end of the day and how you want to schedule your time. So I don't want to say, if I could, I would work out every day, because the truth is, if I wanted to really work out every day, I could work out every day. I ideally would like to work out every day. Unfortunately, a bunch of other things kind of come into play. And then sometimes when it comes to work, if I start getting into a project, then my mind gets wrapped into that. My problem is, generally, I have a difficult time working out late in the day unless it's something that involves being outside, because the day is beautiful by that point, and I don't mind working out, doing stairs or doing a workout in the park. I would say, though, when I'm in a good flow, I probably would work out at least 30 minutes every day. I have my QFit classes, which many of you already know about. The QFit I do on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. In the mornings at 10 a.m. and that's about an hour. So at least I have those. Sometimes I do the replays myself. I know a lot of my QFit crew members will do just the replays, but sometimes I'll do them as well later on in the week. And then, of course, as this weather is getting nicer and warmer and sunny outside, I'm going to be spending more time in the middle of the day going out to work out. So yeah, working out, ideally I'd like to do it every day. But I don't want to pretend that that is something I can't accomplish. It's something I haven't been putting time into. Thank you for that question. Ariel in the house. Okay. Dasha, I'm such a, okay, here we go. I got horse as my spirit animal, but Yusuf did not tell me why. I've got eagle, because you like to soar. That was one of my choices, actually. Eagle was on my list. Dasha said, I'm such a cat. I stretch and pounce and I have a mind of my own. Yeah, I believe that. Yusung Lee said, horse sounds suitable, strong, fast, beautiful, and sensitive. Oh, I never really looked at a horse in that way, but yeah, you're right. I could take that. All right. So my spirit animal, my own question. First, my mythical spirit animal would be the phoenix. I don't know if you've ever familiar with the phoenix. Maybe you know X-Men and Jean Grey. She turns into the phoenix. Basically, she gets killed and then she reincarnates into this bird out of the fire, right? She comes out of the ashes. So I personally like the phoenix because, I feel like it's a example of resilience. And I would say, if there's one quality that's been one of my strongest qualities through my life, has been resilience, just because I've definitely been knocked down many, many times. I've been injured. I have, faced rejection and disappointments, and all I can think about is like, well, get back up, Magna, and get at it, because there's nothing to do here. Yes, rest is good for a little while, but eventually at some point you just got to get back up and get on the horse, the figurative horse. So yeah, I would say mythically it would be the phoenix. If it was a real animal, I would say that it would be between two, tigers and eagles. So eagles, Kiwi awesome. You said it, because I like to soar 100%. That's definitely me. And tigers, I was thinking about lions, and I still debate whether a tiger would beat a lion in a fight or vice versa. But lions tend to like roll in packs. There's always, the family of lions, right? For me, tigers are generally very independent. They're also really beautiful and strong and powerful, and will navigate through all different terrains. Lions are kind of desert animals, whereas tigers, you've got in the jungles, in the mountains, in the cold places. So they're very agile too. So tiger would have been mine. All right, Carl, bonjour. Phoenix makes sense. Life and transformation and growth. Yep, that's exactly a falcon, finding the right vision to follow. Actually, the eagle part for me is also observant, rather. Hyper observant. That's one of the things that I would say has benefited me in terms of even dance and fitness. Like anyone who's ever taken a class with me, whether it's in person or whether it's online in a Zoom class, even if there are like 50 tiles on my screen, I could like sit here and be like, oh, so and so, your foot. Oh, the right foot needs to, oh, you're angling too much. Oh, try and take smaller steps. So that hyper observant eye, or that to detail, I would say, is another reason that an ego would kind of appeal to me. Christian said, sitting on my grand piano practicing El Raton. Ooh, getting to join this chat. Great addition to my Eastern solitude. Welcome. El Raton is one of my favorite songs. I actually have a show to that song with one of my favorite dancers and favorite partners and favorite people in the global salsa world, Z from Singapore. We have a really nice show to that. Like, it's one of my favorite shows because, okay, we're shifting a little bit here, but oftentimes what I found with shows, generally speaking, they are powerful, they are fast, they are full of like dazzle, razzle and dazzle. Like you cannot take your eyes off of them because they're constantly throwing something at you that you need to focus on, that you need to pay attention to. And even I had shows like that I would try and have the song be powerful or energetic. El Raton was just so slow and mellow, but it was really such a nice song to dance to. And my partner and I at the time had social dance to this song, and we had a video of it, and we're like, damn, that we should just try and remember what we did, copy the video and then do that as a performance. And then there was one time we were in Australia, in Perth. We had gone down there to do a different show, actually. So I was hired to teach workshops. I brought my partner from Singapore, and I said, yeah, we're going to, we'll do this show, this partner show. And when we got there, I told Z, I was like, hey, what do you think about El Raton? We should do a show to that. He's like, yeah, sure. But when? Because I live in the US and he lives in Singapore. The way I would do shows with him is I would show up 2 days before an event and choreograph. We would practice and then we'd perform. So he's like, yeah, but when? I said, I don't know. Let's cut the song. Let's start by cutting the song. So the first day I arrived after some 30 plus hours of travel and a completely flip upside down of the time zone, we cut the song. Now that we had the song, the next day, I had some privates to teach and whatnot. And I said, why don't we just start choreographing? He's like, okay. And he's amazing. Like this is one of the most amazing things about him, is just super open-minded and like always eager to learn, to grow, to practice. So we started choreographing and we kind of had it finished in that day, more or less. And I said, okay, let's do the show on this weekend. He's like, what? So aren't we doing the other show, the one that we've done a couple of times at least? I was like, yeah, but this is fresh in our mind, right? Like we have it in our mind and we are training it right now. Let's just do it. And so we finished the show and we performed it that Saturday. So we had choreographed it Thursday, Friday, which is typical. Again, back to regular choreography schedule. Choreographed it and then performed it on that Saturday, and I loved it. Like, I mean, I'm biased. Yeah, it's a show that I did, but I honestly love that show. It's on my YouTube channel. You guys could look it up. El Raton, Magna, Gopal, Z-E-E. It should come up. It just allowed me to milk moments, milk the song, milk those pauses before something happens. And speaking of which, actually, I'm just going to throw this up here because I do have a new course available online as we're talking about dancing right now. And I actually have a couple of questions regarding dancing. There is a new course and there's a new series of courses that I'm going to be adding online that are live class replays from live classes that I've done in the past. They are online classes for the most part. So you would have these Zoom sessions. They're really great because, of course, I've also created courses online, instructional courses where I'm breaking things down, but I'm breaking things down to a camera. I'm not interacting with anybody. So these courses are great for that reason, because there's interaction with the students in the class, though you can't see their faces. There's interaction with the students in the class. I'm much, much more of a goofball when there's people, as you can see, we have this interaction as well, even though I can't see your faces. That eagle eye, attentiveness, attention to detail is also present. So there are a lot of things that when I teach a course, I think of, what are the possible things that my students would need to know if we're focusing on footwork or if we're focusing on spins or whatnot. But I don't know what you're struggling with until I see it, right? And everyone's different. And what I think is obvious might not be obvious to you. And so when I have these live classes, I'm able to actually pay attention to what people are doing correctly or incorrectly and make those suggestions that I would otherwise not make myself if I was just recording instruction on a specific topic. So they're really good for that as well. And I'll be releasing them as I edit them. It's always really surprising to me when I'm like, oh, it's an hour class. It should take an hour and a half maybe to do the work. But nope, it takes me 4 to 5 hours to edit a class and then set it up as another bunch of time, 2 hours to render. It's a lot of work. So I am going to get them as quickly as I can out there, but make sure you check out my website, magnagopal.com. There's a section for courses, or you can go directly to learn.magnagopal.com and you can see a list of the courses. Even if there's nothing on there that you're specifically looking for right now, still sign up and create a free account. That way you'll at least get the notifications of when a new course is released, and maybe the next one is something that you want to sign up for. So, oh my God, I totally forgot. There's one other thing, which is my Mpowered reviews. Don't know how many of you are familiar with it, because I've only really ever offered it to my students in my 2-week intensive courses. So I would do these 2-week intensives, which I will do again soon once I get a lot of these other things off my plate. These 2-week intensives where they get Mpowered reviews, you submit a minute of yourself dancing or breaking or going through the technique that we covered. And I give you a whole slew of tips that you can use for practice. I've only made this available to my students in the past, but on my platform, on my online platform, that is an option available to you as well. So if you want to, you can get the course. And obviously it's not a live class, so I cannot see you doing it. But if you want that individual personalized feedback, get the course with a discounted Mpowered review, and then you can submit your video to me and I will answer and give you some feedback on your specific movements and your dancing, so that you can get like that personal feel to it. Okay. All right. Wow. See, like I said, how do I just blah, 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 the whole time? Hi, Alex. Nice to see you. Better late than never. Absolutely. I agree. Yvette, then there's the wolf that are protected but live on the edge as well. I like that one too. Yvette said, awesome. I wish I could move my legs like you do. I love watching you and your footwork. Turns, makeup as you go, steps. So I would actually like to answer that question, because I did get another question from someone else that said, how do I dance like you? Now, I personally don't think that we should be in the business of trying to dance like anybody else, right? If we are in a performance team and we're doing some sort of choreography or whatever, yes, of course, we want to have that synchronicity. We want to have that uniformity across dancers. However, ultimately, this is about personal expression, right? This is all about how can we best express ourselves and what we feel, which is going to be uniquely different to everybody, right? Sure, some of us relate to other people, like Yvette said, like, I like the way you do this thing. That means that you have that same feeling. When you hear the music, you think, oh yeah, I get what she's doing. I like that. I can relate to that. So I would want to do something similar to that. But ultimately, what we should be looking for is our own authentic expression on the dance floor, right? And the best way to do that when it comes to the instructors who you admire or the artists who you admire, who you want to try and get more from, don't just think about their moves. You've got to understand their philosophy, right? Because my dance is 20% of movement, maybe another 30% of technique, and then 50% of mindset. Like, it is the way I think about dancing that makes what I do accessible, possible, and ultimately, eventually executable, right? So we have a tendency to focus on movements because, sure, that's the easiest thing, that's tangible, right? We can see that immediately and say, yeah, I want that. I can see it. I want that thing. Let me buy that. I'm going to put that in my pocket and take it home. We don't see the philosophy. We don't see the mindset that goes behind that. And we definitely do not see the training and the fundamentals that go beyond that, right? If you look at, say, someone in fights, right? Boxing, for example, you see an amazing fighter, but you don't realize how many times they sat there shadow boxing, just this punch over and over and over for hours on end, right? You don't see the time that they spend stretching, to make sure that they don't injure their muscles. The extra time beyond the boxing that they spend working out to train the body to be strong. The extra time that they spend just listening to their coach tell them, these are the things you need to think about. The extra time they spend analyzing their opponent, right? And dance, of course, let's not look at our partners as opponents, but right, the extra time they sit there studying their opponents and in general, the upcoming fight or just in general, to say, okay, I've thought of all of this, but I never thought about what I would do when confronted with that, right? So if you really, really admire somebody and there's something that they do that you want to emulate in some way, don't just focus on what they're doing. You've got to get into their minds and their emotions and understand how they think about things and what is important to them, right? And that will get you a lot closer to being able to do the things that they do, right? So I'm gonna just take a break and take some. You see, like I get into something and then la la la. Just taking a look at Sydney. Hi, Sydney. Love your style. You're awesome. Thank you. Hi, hon. Tangier Latin Festival in the house. Oops. Instagram is soulful. Yeah, true. Agreed. Okay, I got a Sekar also said 100% true. I got another question. Musical M, how can I apply for your online lessons? The best place to go would be to go to my website, magnagopal.com. There's a section in the banner that says courses. You can just go there and you can see what's upcoming as well as the on-demand platform. On the on-demand platform, you just sign up there. You can, again, like I said, you can create a free account so you get notified of whenever there's a new course, and you can just check out all the other courses on there to join. Okay. Going back over here. Yvette said, sounds good. Awesome. JR, any plans to make another TED Talk? Nothing at the moment. I don't see any, at least in-person gatherings for TED Talks anytime soon. So that's not coming up yet. Yvette, your aura has many spiritual animals. Unicorns are beautiful, but cautious. Cheetahs, fast and flexible. I'll take a unicorn too. Phoenix unicorn. What does that look like? Dasha said, you got a warrior spirit. Definitely have that. I definitely, speaking of warrior spirits, I'm going to go into a little bit back into the spirit animal and that resilience, but also, again, mindset, right? Like that mentality. How do you approach things? So I don't know if you can see these rings on my finger. I'm slowly getting back to wearing things on my finger. This ring is a little tight to take on and put off. And if you can see this finger, maybe in the previous chats, you've even seen me have it wrapped up, is still a little bit swollen. It was really swollen. Like this ring would not even pass that knuckle. Right now, with a little push, I can get it down. This injury, and pretty much all my injuries, happen on the battlefield, right? When I'm playing sports, when I'm working out, something like that. Now, there are many people, and I see it all the time, and I'm sure you know this and you have experienced this yourself, where injuries happen and that's their chance to quit, right? Something happens and you're like, oh man, I got injured like at the beginning of the game. Yeah, I'm out. I'm just going to sit it out. If you have ever played sports with me or if you've worked out with me, you know that's really not an option. Sometimes to my detriment because maybe my body actually needs to sit it out, but I'm not very good at that, right? And I always like I see it, I'm like, how bad is this? Can this be temporarily wrapped up or something so that I can continue? Because I showed up to do something. I showed up to play sports. I showed up to work out. I showed up for something specific. And that's what I'm going to try to get through that thing that I showed up for. Right. So that is my mentality. And with almost every time I've gotten injured and, jammed my fingers playing football, I would tape them. Like it's so bad that even this nail is like now growing out. There's a little curve. You probably can't see it, but um, it got damaged here. This whole thing was blue. I don't know. I thought it was broken. It wasn't even moving. Then the nail started to grow out and then it fell off. Like it was so bad. It was months. But I wrapped that up and I got 2 touchdowns and all of this other stuff. So I still played. So my mentality and my approach to a lot of things is if I showed up for something, I'm going to try to be there 100% and try to deliver and gain, right? Like me being there and showing up and playing sports is immensely therapeutic for me, for my mind, for my body, for everything. So I'm getting something by actually being there and not just sitting on the sidelines. So I will always, if I have an intention of doing something, I will always find a way to get around it if possible. Just speaking of that warrior spirit Dasha talked about. All right. A couple of comments here. I also got something here. So again, Instagram, my folks here, if you are going to send a question, can you please, please, please put them in the question box? There's a question mark there. Otherwise, it's really hard to scroll and see who sent what when. Okay. All right. Over here, YouTube. All right, lots of people on YouTube, which is great because I think the next one's going to be only on YouTube. We'll see, not on Facebook. Wait, Joe, Cuba, Raton. Sorry. The moment where I'm scrolling is always like, you guys get to hear how fast I can read. Wade is talking. I remember that class, love the experience. I don't mind to repeat it again. Thanks for releasing it. So Wade is one of my students from the online classes that I have been giving, and his improvement is, but again, that's not just me, right? I just want to go into that too real quick. It's not just the teacher. Like you have a good student, you have a lot of great teachers out there, a lot of very well-informed, really experienced instructors out there, but it's also the student. Like as students, you have a role to play. It's like just coming to the class and kind of going 50% into it is not playing your best role. Like if you are taking a class, if you want to learn something, come with the attitude and the mentality of how much can I get, right? How much can I extract from this moment, from this lesson, from this person? And it might not be even what they're teaching, right? I could be teaching a class on footwork and you're taking this class and maybe what you're saying is, wow, the way she speaks or the words she uses, all of a sudden, not only are you getting the benefit of learning the technique for that particular footwork, but you're also getting a new vocabulary for how to verbally express the things that you are trying to learn. Or perhaps if you're an instructor or an aspiring instructor, other ways to teach, right? There's always something to gain. There's always something to gain from every moment. But what you gain depends on you. You could have a wealth of information and I could give you everything and every single thing I know. And you could walk away and say, I didn't get anything. And that's not because I didn't give it to you. That's because you chose not to focus, or you chose not to be curious, or you chose not to be open-minded, or you chose not to be present, or you chose not to really invest in yourself. You came, you were there, you raised your hand, I'm here, and you didn't further that investment, right? So just speaking to really good students, and I have some amazing students, and I'm so fortunate for them because I love to see the improvement, the advancement. I love to see the creativity. I love the moments when you try and you fail and you're like, oh, okay, Magna, that's not what you meant, right? All right, I'm going to try again. I'm going to do it again. That growth is yours. I can't take that away from you. That's why it's really important to invest in your learning. Alex said, many dancers begin by imitating someone they admire before developing a style of their own. Very true. And many dancers continue to just imitate also. There are plenty of dancers that I see out there who just never bothered to develop their own style. And again, it's not wrong. It is your choice. If that is what you want to do, that's fine too, because there is also an element of skill in imitation, right? Copying somebody is not easy, especially if they happen to be very advanced or very technical, or very musical, or have all of these other elements to their dancing. Copying someone is not easy, So if that's your goal, you're still learning, you're still gaining. You just might not be yourself, but you're still learning and improving. Oops, gosh, sometimes they scroll so quickly. Understand the person, Wade, understand the person behind the move, how they walk through life, and you'll find out more than what you're looking for. Absolutely. Yvette said, I agree. Dance is an art. Mindset is definitely a must. And I feel the music when the rest of the body starts moving. Yeah. Cool. Lena from Russia. Hi, Lena. Yusung Lee said, I think it's good for beginners to mimic the style they like, and one day they will find their own style. I'm not sure if it's correct. No, you're absolutely correct. It's hard when we start out as beginners. We don't know, right? We don't know what's out there. We don't know how to create a style. We are literally learning our alphabet. We haven't even gotten words yet. We're just learning the alphabet. So it's important to find someone that inspires you. It's important to look in a direction and say, oh, I like the way they speak. I like those words. What letters did they use to create those words? Right? And then you start to remember the words, remember how they put them together, and then you start to repeat those words. We need that. Otherwise, what is an alphabet really, right? That's what dance is too. What is an alphabet? If somebody who's never spoken English, you get A to Z, right? Great. What am I supposed to do with that? I don't know. Do I just reverse the order? Is that one word? Do all of the letters need to be used all the time? These are things that we need reference to start to create that understanding so that we can then eventually start to create. So Yusung Lee, I agree. Beginners, when you're starting out, find someone that you like, find someone that's inspiring, and then see how they are using the things that you know. So if you know your basic and your right turn and a crossbody lead, when you watch someone that you admire and they are doing those things, see how they do those things, right? That's your alphabet, that's your vocabulary. See what sentences they create with the same vocabulary. And then see if you can create that. And then maybe change up the sentence structure to see how you can then make your own. Alex said, I had imagined that injuries would happen among competitors, but not among social dancers. Nah, they happen everywhere. Right, Christian. Christian said, I had to look up its English. I'm a clouded leopard. Christian, I need to know why you think that. Jeremy. Good spirit, but I feel we are still have limits. The body needs time to heal too. We are human beings in the end. You are right. I agree to a degree. Many of the limits we have in life are often limits placed on us by society, by our own understanding of things, which is limited. We do not have a full understanding of everything. We just don't. How could you? There's so many things in this world. There's so many elements to everything, even the body. Like, I understand movement very well, right? But do I know the intricacies of how blood flows and, exactly which muscles and what neurons are firing to create that movement? No, that's another element. So when we sometimes look at things and think about limits, we look at it from a restricted, not restricted, but a limited amount of information, the information that we have or the information we hear from other people, right? And that's what when I push against those limits, when I push not to rest, there are times, absolutely, I do agree with you 100%, Jeremy, that yeah, sometimes the body just does need rest, and it heals faster with rest. I 100% agree. But there are a lot of people I know who are like, oh, I got injured, now I don't do this anymore. Right? Oh, this happened and now I can't do this anymore. Whereas for me, I got injured doesn't mean I can't do anything anymore. It just means I need to get through that injury. Oh, damn it. Sorry, folks. I'm going to be right back. That is a delivery. I'm not going to go downstairs and get it, but a delivery. Yay, package. Where was I? Right. So the limits, the injury, right? If I get injured, I am not going to try and look at it like this is permanent, right? So there are a lot of people who do look at that as a permanent thing. Whereas for me, my idea with any type of injury that I encounter is, how limiting is it really? How much more can I still do? Can I still continue with whatever it is that I was doing? And not just rest, but how to train it back to original strength, right? We are so pain averse sometimes that we don't realize sometimes the a little bit of pain is a step in the healing, in the direction of actually healing and recovering and being stronger than before, you know. So yes, it is a good spirit. We have limits. I'm sure there are some, but I like to find out what those are by pushing them instead of assuming that they're right here when they might actually just might be my vision that thinks that they're right here, but really they're way on the other side of the room, right? Um, Alex asked, have you studied ballet? I wonder if it was a source of your spin technique. Nope, I have not studied ballet. In fact, I never took lessons really with any other dance form. Salsa was my first dance, and salsa involved a couple of lessons to learn like the very kicky step, step kick, kind of a Colombian basic. And then the rest of it was just social dancing. For the most part, it was all social dancing. It's funny because this actually reminds me of something someone had brought up in some forum discussion where they said, oh, Magna has jazz training or whatever. They're like, no, I think she's self-taught. And uh, this person had replied and said, that's impossible. Trust me, she has training. Doesn't matter what she says. So I just found that funny because one, I don't have that training. And two, it's just very amazing to me how sure people are about other people when you really have no idea. Like the person commenting, I don't even know the person. Like at least some of you I've seen at events or something, didn't even meet this person, right? But they're commenting with such certainty that they knew what my experience was based on an observation. So just be mindful, try not to make those assumptions, because ultimately it's an ass out of you and me, right? But really it's just making an ass out of you, because all right, here we go. We got some questions here on Instagram. How many hours? That doorbell sounded like my spirit animal. Miriam asked, what do you think should be the most important quality or value of a teacher? That is a brilliant question. I would say one of the most important qualities of a teacher would be empathy. And the reason I say empathy is because if you can relate to your students and understand where they are, where they're coming from, because in fact, you too were there at some point, it becomes easier to teach. I find that a lot of times instructors, once they get to a certain level, it's almost like they forgot that they were beginners once, that they needed time to learn and understand the things that they had no idea about. And now they have students in class who are like messing up the step, asking questions. Oh, can you repeat that again? And I see a lot of instructors that just get flustered and frustrated instead of having a sense of empathy and patience to say, yes, of course, let me break that down again. And instead of not only just having this idea of patience, but how about some self-reflection, right? Just because you have a school, or just because you have a bunch of students, or just because you have a few dancers that come from learning from you who are really, really high level, does not mean that you have the best technique for explaining something. You could always improve. So if you are having a struggle with a student or a bunch of students or a certain level where they're not expanding or they're not getting better, then instead of sitting there and immediately saying, oh, these students are so stupid, they just can't learn, they don't get it. How about saying, what other ways could I break this down? Clearly me demonstrating to them is not enough. So maybe I need to make contact with the student to show them how it should feel. What other analogies can I give them? Because dance is foreign to a student, right? Dance is foreign to so many people. Dance is especially foreign to beginners, right? They heard the music somewhere in a club or something. They're like, ooh, oh, there's some random people dancing. Oh, they have a dance to this kind of stuff. Cool. I want to learn that. They don't know anything about basic technique, a right turn, a crossbody lead. This is all foreign to them, right? So how about finding a way to relate to what they do know? And that's where analogies come in handy. And I love analogies for this reason, because that's one thing I use a lot in my classes. And I try to show people through whatever I'm breaking down, something that they definitely have experience with. I remember there was a time that I talked about this movement that involved, I'm actually going to just demo it because now I got space. There's this time that, yeah. So there was this time that I was breaking down this movement that involved a lift of the leg, bringing it back, and a cascading movement of the upper body, right? And of course, when I demoed it, everyone in the class was like, yeah, Magna, we don't move like that. So I said, okay, who's ridden a bike? Every hand went up. All right, so we ride our bike like this, right? I'm lifting my leg really high because, actually, why don't I just tilt this down? Duh. Right? So when we ride our bike, we have this movement. And I'm like, all right, well, now ride your bike backwards. Okay, everyone got that too. So now we've got half of this movement, right? And I'm like, all right, now you finish your bike ride backwards and put your foot down. Place it behind you. We've got half the move. Now, let me just crap. Listen over here. We've got half of this movement. Then I said, how many people have thrown up in their life, right? Almost all of us, you know, I'm not going to judge your reason why you threw up, whether you were drunk or food poisoned or whatever. All right. Not the point. But how many times have you thrown up? Again, everyone's hand went up, right? So everyone can relate to this feeling, this action, this experience. So given that, okay, what does it feel like? Right? You heave, you lift your chest, and then you let it all out. Basically the same movement, right? Of course, you're not going to make that face, and hopefully you're not letting anything out, but it's the same idea of lifting the chest, bringing all of that stuff in the belly up into the chest, up into the throat, and letting it out. And so that is your upwards movement. Now combine that. So let's ride our bike backwards and then vomit, right? It's no longer a 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Let's just ride our bike backwards and then vomit, right? So just an example of, wow, my camera lighting adjusting is crap. So just an example of how a teacher should approach breaking something down, you know, because yeah, you don't know how a student's going to understand things. And the best goal for you is to actually try to think of a different way, right? So instead of being a stickler and saying it's 1, 2, 3, right turn, find something else, find another thing to break down so that they can connect with the material that you're giving them. Right. So first it starts with empathy, because without empathy, you just don't even relate anymore to your students. You just see them as just completely different from you, you know, different level. And we have nothing in common other than the fact that you like to dance and I like to dance and I'm better at it than you. That's not good. So you want empathy first. And then once you've got that empathy, then it's all about like trying to lift and trying to create an understanding for your students. And that might not involve the lingo that you are used to. You need to adjust that. And ultimately, again, same thing like a dancer who's dancing with someone who's a beginner dancer who doesn't really know anything. You're learning in the process. So am I as a teacher. Every time I have to come up with a different way to explain something, I learn it better. I am better at it. You know, I have deepened my understanding of that movement. And I'm a better teacher now because of it. Because now when someone has a question about that particular movement, I not only have 2 ways to explain it, I have 3 or 5, depending on how many times I had to explain it differently because a student wasn't understanding, right? That's a really touchy one for me because, gosh, I have seen many instructors, just the berating of students. I actually have a video on this on my YouTube channel, Empathy in Teaching. So for any one of you, whether Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, take a look at that link. All right. Maria, I hope I answered your question. All right, got more people in the house. Ola from Calcutta. Hi, Debraj. Happy Easter to you too. Always a pleasure to have you here. Hi, Angel. How do you develop your own style and what is your advice? Angel, please throw your thing into the question section. Hi, Havana Salsa from Dhaka, Bangladesh. Hello, hello. Well, I think the delivery guy came to listen to your live chat now. Debraj, you're funny. All right, please, 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 for those of you, throw your questions into the question mark button on Instagram. That way I can see it in one place. Yes, Musical M28, who was asking about a TED Talk. Yeah, my TED Talk is also available on YouTube, so you can find it on there. I would love to do another TED Talk. I have so many topics, things I can talk about. Obviously, you guys get that feel, right? Okay. Super. Yes, Magna True Talk. I'm late, but I'm here. Vinit in the house. All right. Dora, please throw your question into the other thing. Question mark. I'm also a friend of Emin. Hi. Amazing my questions. Okay, actually, I can answer this question. How many minutes do you warm up before a performance or a workshop? Depends on the workshop. It depends on the performance. For most performances, I just try and stay limber. It also depends on the location. So there are some places that are quite cold where I need to like keep on moving to keep my body warmed up. There are places that are hot and I sweat like this. So if you have ever seen me at a dance event or if you've even watched any of these social dance videos that I post, if it's a night of dancing, you see that nice glossy glaze, Yeah, it's not a natural glow. It's just a lot of sweat. So I also try to avoid doing that because before a show, especially if I have like my hair trying to like have this volume in my hair, if I start to sweat, that thing just starts to look like a mop on my head. So I struggle with that because I do get warmed up quickly and I sweat a lot. So I have to be mindful of how I warm up so that I don't, ruin anything for my performance. For workshops, it's a little bit different when it comes to warming up for workshops. With workshops, depends on what I'm teaching. If I'm teaching a technical fundamental class, which I've already kind of got a structure to, I already know what I need to do. I just kind of review that in my head. Sometimes if I'm teaching a kind of choreography class or something with musicality, with movement or footwork with that musicality, in those cases, it might take me an hour and a half before the class because I'm listening to a song. I'm thinking about what I want to do to the song. I'm seeing if I can repeat the movement that I want to teach because sometimes things come to me and then when I try and go back to find it, it's gone. It's like this poof of inspiration and it's just disappeared into the ether, right? So in those cases, I want to like hear the music that I'm playing with, revise until I got it down, and then try and listen to the music and break down the count, which is another challenge because I'm like, what is that? That's not two. That's like a 1, 2, and a 3 and a 4. So the count of this particular step is going to be 1, 2, the end of the 3 and the 4, the end of the 7 and the 8. Something like that. Of course, it's my head working, but I'll explain it better in the class, right? So people get it. So yeah, that's usually how long it takes me. Hi, Orlando. Orlando in the house, the lead singer for New Swing Sextet, one of my favorite bands ever, one of the most bomb-ass bands. They are so amazing as human beings, as everything. All right. Going over here back to Facebook and YouTube. I love this setup. The other reason I love this setup, which is good or bad, because again, these live chats were initially supposed to be just 30 minutes. Like, hey, hi, how are you? I know, what do you do for this? Blah, 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 And these live chats have now ended up being an hour and a half usually. We're already into an hour. Let's see where we go with this. Musical M28, I cannot wait neither. I just tried that movement online. Oh, dope. Cool. So Musical M, and anyone who's online right now, if you want these type of courses, this is so the same way that I'm breaking that one movement down with the analogies of the bikes and stuff like that. That's how I teach, right? That's how I teach because for me, I understand that a lot of the things I do that you might like are really, really foreign to your body. They come naturally to me because that's what I do, right? But they don't come naturally to you. And I appreciate and I accept that difference. And my goal as an instructor is to bridge that gap of understanding of the movement and of your own body so that you can start to not only create the movement that you like that I'm doing, but that you can create the movements that you want to ultimately do yourself, whatever combination that is. So all of those classes on my course platform are like that. Anytime I teach, just know that that's what you're going to get because that's my brand. That's the quality of my brand. And I will never lower the level of what my brand is held at. All right. Wade said, best analogies in the game, why I'm moving as well. I'll remember this and find a melody. Sweet. JR said, I don't think dancing should be limited to just what you see being done, but more what your body feels to do. Not putting too much emphasis on looking good, but rather enjoying the dance is key. Excellent point. However, I feel like in most things, I have a very yes and, But whenever we do these live chats, I've got a very yes, but answer to most of the things that you present to me. So JR's point about, I don't think the dancing should be limited to just what you see being done, but more what your body feels to do. Not putting too much emphasis on looking good, but enjoying the dance is key. I agree. However, if um, you got to think kind of about what your inspiration is, right? And this is where we lose honesty. Honesty is also a crucial factor for improving in your dancing. You need to be honest with yourself about what you like, what elements you like about someone's dancing, what is important to you, and where are you currently? I think there are a lot of people who can answer the first two questions honestly, but don't often answer the third as honestly. There are many people who are like, I like this kind of dancing. I like Afro, or I like fast footwork, or I like spins, and that's what I want to get good at. Cool. How good do you think you are at them? Yeah, I would say like I'm intermediate advanced. And you watch them and you're like, nope, you're not. You're far from intermediate advanced, right? And that lack of honesty with yourself is why you don't grow. Because if you think you're already here, but you're here, why would you take the steps to get here? You, in your head, you're already here, right? And so this is what, when you say what the body feels, right? Even that aspect of it is an element that you need to be honest with, right? There are a lot of people who are like, yeah, I feel this music, and they're doing something to the song. Yes, they feel it, but are they hitting the music? They think they are, but they're not. The reason they're not is because they don't know their body. They don't have that fundamental understanding of isolations and control and speed and momentum and all of that stuff. So they're not actually hitting the music the way they think they are or the way they say they are, right? I posted a video recently on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, just a short clip, a little thing that I was playing with in the park. Can you see the music? Like, can you see the music in the dancing? And I posed a question within that, which was, if somebody removed that section of the song and pulled that instrument, extracted the instrument out of the song, and placed you dancing, so you know what's happening. It's not a moment where like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen, I'll just do whatever. No, you know the song, you know exactly what you hear, right? You can sing it. You can say ba da 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 ba da da da. Okay, cool, right? That is exactly the rhythm that's happening. Cool. We're going to take that instrument out, that section of that instrument's solo, and we're going to put you in there instead. Can someone listening to that song who knows the song understand that when you're moving, that you are actually doing what the instrument would have been doing? Again, in our head, we think we are, but in reality, we're not. And sometimes we don't want to admit that. We want to think that we've gotten to this level of, yeah, I'm having fun, and yeah, I can feel the music, but we're not actually there in clear expression. So yes, I agree that you should do what feels good, right? But at the end of the day, when you dance, it's communication. You are expressing yourself. And why would you want to express yourself and just be like, ah, la, la, I like sound, blah, 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 blah. I'm just gonna make some sound because I like the song. Like, what are you saying? Someone who's listening to you, what do you want them to take away from that? Right? When we're dancing with a partner, you have an audience. You have someone in front of you, someone who is listening, who is actively connected to you and communicating with you and trying to understand you, right? So it's important to understand how to communicate effectively. And when it comes to dancing, that requires not just whether it looks good or not, but yeah, it does. Right? It's like pronunciation. I could sit here, talk to all of you, and instead of speaking the way I'm speaking, making sure that no matter which country you're in, If English is not your first language, at least you know that the word I'm saying is pronounced and enunciated the way it should be so you can understand it, right? Again, what's my goal here, right? My goal is to express, to communicate, to connect. So I could be like, yeah, I'm going to talk about this stuff. If it is, it's like makes sense. Or like, I know she's saying something important, but I can't understand it, right? So it's important. It's really important for us to start focusing on that expression, on the clarity of that expression, And again, going back to the element of honesty, right, is not just honesty of where you are now, here in your dancing, what level you're at, truly, but also honesty to what was your inspiration. Because JR, you mentioned like it should be about fun. I agree, right? But who did you want to dance like? The person just kind of moving around who's clearly having a great time, right? If you watch that person dance, you're like, wow, he's flowing, he's having so much fun, right? Yeah, but none of those movements are clean. You're kind of like, whatever, right? Or are you inspired to learn the dance because of that other couple that's like smooth and slick, and you can see the music and you can see them smiling and having fun, right? Be honest. What was your inspiration? The person that looks like they're drunk but clearly having fun, or the clean, precise, still wild but having fun? Because if it was the latter, then you're doing yourself a disservice by saying, it doesn't matter what it looks like, because it does to you. That was your inspiration, right? I feel like more space allows me to get more animated. I don't know if that's a good thing, because when I'm stuck in my kitchen, I can't move the chair. Also, the chair creaks, and there's no space to back up, and there's no space to send my arms. So I'm just kind of like, blah, 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 blah. But now I get this, and now I'm like, yeah, this is what I feel. Okay, let's go to some questions here. Yodon says, your YouTube live is cooler. Check it out, Insta people. Oh, thank you. Yeah, YouTube, honestly, YouTube is like the best place to check these lives out. There's also where you can find the entire live whenever it's finished. And you have obviously more of my body. See, you can't see my hands in Instagram, but you can see my hands over here. So yeah. Renato from Brazil. Hello. Such strong words. Thank you. With pleasure. Hi, Dwayne. One of the best soccer players is one of my friends from childhood. Okay, wow, lots of questions. Holy crap. How did you, so we got question from DJ Fatin. How did you master your spins and balance? One of the ways that I did that is by dancing. But another way I improve my dancing is not just to practice on my own, but to not just practice the right stuff, but use my mistakes as learning experiences. A lot of times what people do when they're learning is they are given a set of instruction that they need to practice, and this is the correct way to do it. So they try and do that. When they mess up, they're not thinking about why they messed up, what could have been changed to make that mistake the correct step. They just stopped, said, damn, I messed up. Let me start again, right? They just start back again. But if I'm losing my balance, yeah, I know I lost my balance. I could stop and say, okay, cool. Okay, let me start again. But why did I lose my balance? Right? I need to ask that question too. Why did I lose my balance? And then think, oh, it's because I like completely exhaled. And so my body collapsed. And so my core was no longer engaged. And that allowed the momentum of my prep to then send my upper body over to the side, which then caused me to lose my balance. That's my analysis of those moments. Anytime I make a mistake, I learn so much that allows me to apply it better to the actual thing that I am trying to accomplish. Right. So when you're practicing, That's one of the things you want to also think about. And that's what I do when it comes to my dancing. And when it came to getting this balance and spins, is I am not just trying to replicate what I remember was good. I am constantly um, making micro adjustments, right? I'm not giving up. I'm not saying, oh, I lost my balance. Okay, well, next time. No, I lost my balance. How do I get it back? How do I get it back? What did I change? Change this, change that. That's not working. Change this, change that. That's not working. Change this. Boom, worked. Check. Remember that this is one of the things that if you let this go, you will lose your balance. Things like that. Hi, Nazarene from Russia. Okay, more questions here. Vinny, you're teaching to help a student learn how to be spontaneous. That's a great question. So I got this question here, and then I'm going to come back over to YouTube. Vineet, one of my good friends and lovely dancers from Mumbai, India, asked, what's the process you use in your teaching to help a student learn how to be spontaneous? I would say, and those of you who have taken the live classes, you'll get an opportunity to join them again when I post them on my course platform, is not giving so much that everything in class is about memorization. If all I'm focused on is memorizing a 20 count sequence, I don't have time to think about how to be creative, or how can I add to this, or how can I make this my own. All I can think about is memorizing it because the instructor is paying attention and watching me do it. So I need to remember everything, right? And then when you leave class, because you never had an opportunity to create, to play, you go out of class thinking about, how good is my memory of what I just learned? So if you want spontaneity as instructors, if you want to encourage spontaneity and creative play and flow, then you need to leave room for it. If you fill your class with just constant, just do this and now do this and now do this and now do this and now do this, where do they have time? Where do your students have time to get creative? Where do your students have time to think of something, to ask a question, to fail, and then to allow you to guide them to success? Where do they have time? They don't. And so that's what we end up creating, is a bunch of carbon copies and people who just want to memorize and who have a huge repertoire, right, from all the classes that they have taken, a huge repertoire of partner work, combinations, and footwork and all of this stuff, but zero creativity, right? It is our responsibility as instructors to encourage that. But encouraging it in words at the end of class, hey, get creative, don't worry, don't forget to have fun, is not enough. Encouraging it is taking that safe space. Remember, when students come to you, that classroom is yours. As instructors, my classroom is my space. I control that classroom. If I feel like someone's being disrespectful, I'll kick you out because this is my space. When my workshop is done, it's somebody else's space, right? When I'm outside in the hotel lobby, it's everyone's space. But in my classroom, it's my space. So I get to dictate the energy that's going to be there, right? For me, all of my classrooms, including online in Zoom classes, are safe spaces. And so if you really want to get creative, people are not going to try things. People who are just beginning, who don't really know that much, are not going to be like, oh yeah, let me put my beginner zero technique self out on the dance floor to show everybody how much I don't know. They're not going to want to try that. So they're going to go straight back to, what do I remember? What was I taught? I'm just going to do exactly everything the way I was taught. But in that classroom environment, which is a safe space that you have created, if you can take that classroom environment instead and say, all right, this is a place for you to create. You're not going to be judged. Just do whatever you want. and I'll give you some advice and some tips on how to play with that. Now, all of a sudden, they're able to extract that experience too. Otherwise, they don't have a place to do it. And not everyone is like that. I'm like that, yes, but I also don't think I'm the average person in terms of mindset. I go and do a lot of crazy things because I don't care what other people think. You know, I know that in that moment I am growing. I know that in that moment I am providing pleasure to my partner as well, because they're having fun, smiling, and getting creative. And that's all that matters to me. If I'm not hurting you, if I'm not upsetting you, if I'm not offending you, then leave me be. You know, let me do whatever I want. Right. But most people are not like that. Most people do or are concerned sometimes with the image and how it looks. And so they're not going to break out of the box and try and do something that might possibly make them look like crap. Right. Vineet was saying, I say the same thing in class. We have many versions of Adolfo and Eddie everywhere. Agreed. And I urge so strongly to my students to work towards originality. And the way I try that is by digging deep. Let students find who they are, learn the rules, and then break. Yep, I always say that. Learn the rules, master the rules, break the rules. But learn the rules and be honest. Back to honesty. Be honest about the rules that you know. And then be honest about the level of mastery of those rules. All right. Going back into, wow, already an hour and 15. I do appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. Angel said, what advice do you have to create your own style? Angel, I did answer that at the very beginning of the live. When the YouTube live is processed, you'll be able to go and access that. So take a look there. So what advice to create your own style? And then what we got here? Maria said, thank you for your answer. Really nice explanation. Hugs from Romania. Hugs back to you. And most important. Okay, cool. All right. So just going to go over here now. Wow. Okay. Get all like flustered because I get so involved in the stuff. And again, I think I answered 3 questions, but like not all of this. I don't even know why I keep on writing more and more stuff. Like I should just try and get through the other ones. But you guys asked fantastic questions. And I would also like to say thank you so much for adding to this conversation. And speaking of that, if you are on any of these platforms, on my channels, please go to YouTube, hit subscribe, like the videos, comment, and especially comment, because I love engaging with all of you, and share it. Now, I'm actually going to go into another topic that is connected, but is something that I've thought about, and it sometimes bothers me a little bit. I'm curious. How many of you people would consider yourselves content consumers? Like you consume content? Just throw yes, hands up, whatever. Hi, John. I'm just going to say some highs while you guys answer that question. When you watch dance videos from 10. Plamena said, I'm blessed with a bad memory for routines. Me too. Just after 40 to keep being able to do double and triple spins. So we got Oscar Data from Costa Rica. What is the one exercise routine a salsero should focus after 40 to keep being able to do double and triple spins? Well, I am 40 now, so why don't I just tell you what I do? There's no one exercise routine. Like, I'm sorry, that's a cop out. Anyone selling that is pulling your chain. There's no one exercise, because spins are not just about doing spins. Spins are about balance. What's your core strength like? What's your back like? Do you have any type of injuries? Do you have any sciatic pain, things like that affect the way that you maintain your posture and your alignment? Those are things that you need to correct, not just practicing a drill for a preparation for a spin. That's not going to be enough. Same thing as you get older, like what is our focus like, right? our focus when we're younger, maybe our eyesight's better, our inner ear functioning is better. As you get older, maybe those things deteriorate a little bit. And as a result, you don't have the same balance that you had before, right? So then you need to not only just be practicing something, but you also need to be taking breaks from that practice so that your body can readjust and go back into neutral. All right, Pransh. So only one person. So speaking of content, right? This is not just for me, but this is for many of the people out there. A lot of artists, and I know all of you who are here somehow found me because maybe you've known me over the years, or maybe you just hopped onto this live chat. But I presume, I would like to think that you are supporters of me and my work, right? Now, one of the things with what we are doing currently and how things have changed, especially as things are going more and more increasingly online, is that there's a lot of work in the back end to create something for you, right? Even this is an hour and a half of time, right? Which the questions that we're going through, I've had private lessons where I sit one-on-one and someone asks me all of these questions and we talk about this. So you're getting this for free as long as you have time to actually hang out, or even if you have time to go and watch the replay, you get this for free, right? But this takes time. I mean, of course, this is a live situation. The online courses that I create, they take time. The little video clips that I try and post for all of you with a little instruction or a snippet of a chat takes time, right? All of these things don't really return anything back. At the end of the day, the investment that we put in as artists, as instructors, doesn't always come back in the same degree. It's not a one-to-one ratio, right? So one of the simplest ways that you can be supportive and really supportive, not just, yeah, I love what you do, that's great, but how can you show that, right? Of course, if you're signing up for a course or something like that, that's your support, that's your active support. But the easiest way that doesn't require any money out of your pocket is commenting and sharing. Because a lot of these things, we as content creators depend on our channels. We depend on our access and our reach, because that's how we get other business, right? Private coaching or whatever that is. And that's really my business, right? I want to be more of a public speaker. That's where I want the direction I want to go. So the greater the reach of videos like this, the more likely I get other inquiries for bookings. Same thing for coaching, right? So algorithms online determine which videos show up. So just because you watch something, you're like, oh my God, I love what she says. Great. How did you show your support for that, right? It doesn't take much. All you have to do is hit subscribe, get on the channel, click like on the things that you like. You already like them, right? Manually show that. Throw in a comment, engage with the content, even if it's something as simple as a heart. You don't need to come up with a long answer or anything. A simple emoji, comment on any post on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever, and then share it. Because if you found value, why wouldn't you share it? Especially when it requires nothing else from you other than a click of a button, which you're already doing and you're going to continue doing as you go through all the other content that you consume, right? These are simple ways for us to truly show support to the people who we keep on returning to for value, right? And it's not that much to ask, but it's surprisingly not in people's mind, not surprisingly, sorry. It's unsurprisingly not on people's minds, because again, for a lot of you, when you go on YouTube or post a video or a picture on Instagram, you're just doing it because, I just did something new, or look at this cool thing that I bought, boom, right? For us, it's a business, and if you have a problem with the fact that it's a business, then you don't understand who you're supporting or who you say, I like this person, right? This is a business at the same time. So those platforms, yes, I post personal things as well, but I try and post valuable content, things that I hope will help you or inspire you or something. So your easiest way to show your support back to me and back to anyone that you followed, that you are learning from, that you are inspired by, is the simple, simple, simple formula of subscribe, like, comment, and share. So if everyone here could promise me that they would do that with this live, we'll be on YouTube, sorry, IG, right? If you can do that with this live or any of these clips that I post that you're like, yeah, Magna, thank you. That analogy was great. You answer that question perfectly. Share it, engage with it, comment on it. It would mean so much more to me than you being present and me not even knowing if you got that value from it, right? Okay, we're already at an hour and a half, but I do want to answer a couple more questions. I feel like this setup also is not letting me realize might be tired of talking. One's in the house, JR in the house. Everybody does. Yep. Distractions, shifting. Yeah. Oh, Irina, sorry. I went through that whole consuming content thing. Consuming content is this, right? Like this is content that I am creating by initiating a live chat with all of you, and you are on the other end, spending your time absorbing that information, right? Consuming content could be you could be consuming content watching Netflix, right? Except with those things, we don't even realize it. We are having an exchange. We're having a very fair exchange with Netflix or with Amazon or whatever, because we pay for a membership to access that content. Whereas this content, which is available to you for free, where Instagram posts or any of those kind of things or blog articles, which are just available to you, you are consuming content without having to pay for it, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fantastic. And of course, I will continue to provide that. But if you wanted to think of some sort of exchange where you could equally show your appreciation, the best way is comment and share. Like, comment, and share. Subscribe to someone's channel, like whatever it is that you spent your time reading. If you liked it, if you really liked it, tell the person, I saw this video, liked it, love, heart emoji, whatever. And then if you found value in it, or if you think it would be inspiring, it was inspiring to you, you think it would be inspiring to someone else, share it. Super simple, All right. Thomas Anthony. Ching chong cha. Oh yeah. So you have taken the live class, because I definitely use that in one of those classes. Dasha, great education on how content creation business works. I'm glad you're sharing that. Many on the other side of this have no idea. It's true. And this is why I don't fault anybody, right? I am not upset with anyone for not doing things that they don't know would be useful or would be helpful. But I do want to let you know, because I would like to think that here I am connecting with all of you because I want to help you. I would like to think that you on the other side are like, how can I help her? Right? How can I make this something that I can feel proud of, saying, yeah, Magna gives me all of this information. She's provided all of this knowledge and this value to me. And you know what? I share her stuff all the time, because whenever it inspires me, I want to inspire somebody else, right? So when you do have that moment where you are in a consumption thing, a moment where you are absorbing information, especially something that adds value to your life, ask, this person's helping me. How could I help them? And if you don't know how, you can always reach out, right? You can always send a message. Like if someone's like, hey, Magna, I really love your content. Like I wished I could help you out. I could tell you, feel free. You can donate if you want, or share it, send a comment anytime you see something that you like, or whatever, there are ways. But the best way is to first ask that question of yourself. This person helps me. How can I help them? And then moving there. Thomas Anthony said, what do I do for a living? This. I teach dance, I do fitness, I do coaching and public speaking, coaching on mindset, movement, and communication. More private stuff at the moment, but I do intend to make that like a hopefully when things open up, I would like to be traveling the world doing that. Francisco said, I have shared. Gracias. Sí, hablo un poquito de español, pero normalmente no hablo español en mis lives. Okay. So we are at an hour and a half. A couple of things, just a few little announcements. Again, there are online courses that are available on my website. You can go to either learn.magnagopal.com or just go to my website and you'll see the courses at the top. I'll be adding those live classes from last year. As soon as I edit them, try and take out the fluff so you don't have to waste your time, and obviously like blur everyone's faces so everyone's privacy is respected. Those classes will be available, and again, like I said, with the live classes, there's a great perk to being able to not only get the instruction, get the time to practice, but also get the feedback that's going to other students, which I would not think of ever including when I'm just creating a course, breaking something down. I need to see people struggling with something for me to understand, oh, I didn't even realize that was a problem. Let me address that. Live courses. If you want your swag, if you guys know about the Mpowered t-shirts, some of my people in here already have them. You can find that as well on my website, magnagopal.com. There's a /shop section where you can find those things. Feedback form, super, super important. Please, if you've got the time, you were here for an hour and a half, please take just 5 minutes, okay? Just 5 minutes and go to, let me just write it in here, Magna, that's not my name. AG, crap. MAGNA, magnagopal.com/feedback, okay? Please just take 5 minutes of your time. Go to magnagopal.com/feedback and fill out that form. If you've attended these and you filled out that form before, please fill it out again, because every live is different. We talk about different topics, and maybe you asked a question this time that got answered, or maybe somebody else brought up a topic. I would like to know what was of value to you. I would like to know what you enjoyed. I'd like to know if you like this new setup, if the sound is clear, all that stuff. So please take a moment, just 5 minutes, magnagopal.com/feedback. And again, wherever you are, if you're on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, please just go and hit like on all the channels, and engage with the content. I put this out, everything I'm putting out there, I take time, because there's some things that I'm like, yeah, I could post that. Sure, why not, right? But at the same time, I'm like, does this add value? Would you enjoy this? Right? There are things that I'm like, I want to share this because I like it and I don't care if anyone else likes it. But most of the other things that I share, I'm like, will this add value? Will someone see the message that I'm trying to send here? So I do a lot of what I do is for you, is to add value, because that is, I do believe, our key to immortality. Is how long do we live in other people's memories? And I would like to live in your memories in a positive way, in your life and your experiences in a positive way for as long as possible. So that's what I try and do. So if you can return that, I would appreciate it. Okay. All right. Araceli said, I love your expertise and honesty, allows your audience to connect with you. Listen, I try as much as I can to be as real as possible. Of course, I have a much more poised, conversational style when I'm doing my live chats. If you've seen me in the park with my buddies, I can be a lot rougher. Of course, we're all multifaceted in who we are, right? But ultimately, I'm not gonna pretend to hide things. This is what I do. This is my business. My business is online. It is dance. It is fitness. It is coaching. And it's also content creation. If I wasn't content creation, you would see nothing from me. I don't really care that much for social media to be on there all the time, trying to put something every week or every couple of days. That's not me. If my business could flourish without social media and someone else could take care of it, I'd probably let them. If social media didn't exist, I'd probably be okay with that too. If I could have my business flourish in another way, but it's not the case. And especially now with everything going online, it's even more important for that engagement online. So yeah, this is part of my business, is content creation. However, I do again, with my brand and the integrity of my brand, which has always been attached to quality and adding value, I will not put nonsense out there, you know? So that's why it takes me time. It takes me time to find something that I think would be of value. And one of the greatest ways to know is if you tell me. So on that note, I would just like to say a huge thank you to all of you who joined today. Again, more than an hour and a half. God damn. I hope you found value. Please check out the courses that are online. They're over here. You can't see that on Instagram. Just go to my website, magnagopal.com. There's a blog there that I am also going to start populating. Speaking of which, actually, let me just add that as a last thing. If you have, if there's something you want me to answer, go to that form, magnagopal.com/feedback. Go to that form and you can ask a question there as well, especially if I didn't get a chance to answer your question here, throw it in there and I will try. Sometimes I'll do them in my live chats and maybe I'll write up some blog articles, but a lot of people who are asking questions about spins, there are quite a couple of blog articles already on my site about spin technique, questions that I had been asked in the past. So I'm going to, again, try and put as much value and try and help all of you grow in some way or another. Because when you grow, I grow, right? I get to benefit, all right? I get to benefit from people who are better dancers, who are better people, who are better communicators, who have open minds, who are creative, who are kind, who are humble, who are honest. I benefit from that also. So of course, I'm invested in making sure I can make my community as great as that they can be, as empowered as you can be. And that is a brand. So that is my goal. Think, feel, and be empowered. And my goal is to help you all be that. So on that note, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And we will be doing this again in a month. So first Saturday of the month is current schedule right now. If that changes, of course, you'll be updated. Please go to YouTube, especially if you're on Facebook. Please go to YouTube and subscribe and turn on your notifications because I might not be doing this on Facebook and YouTube in the future. I might just be doing it on YouTube. So if you've been, accustomed to just finding it on Facebook, the next time might not show up like this, oh, Magna went live, right? So if you want to join that, take a look to YouTube and just click subscribe. All right. Have a lovely, lovely day. I wish you all the best. And thank you for spending an hour and a half listening to me. Blah, 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 blah. Don't forget, subscribe, comment, like, share. If you find things valuable, please do that. And of course, share your feedback as well. Okay. If you need anything, magnagopal.com. You can contact me through there. You can book coaching sessions there. You can find on-demand courses there. And you can find the feedback forms as well and swag. Get your Empowered swag. And if you get your Empowered swag, these nice shirts, which you can see images on there, please take a picture of it for me with a cool background or something and do a pose or whatever so I can share it on my social media. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Bye, Instagram. How do I do this? Crap. So this is the struggle, right? Like trying to get out of here. All right. Crap. I know. I wish there was a smoother way of exiting things. All right. Instagram's out. Goodbye, Facebook. Goodbye, YouTube. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining.